Sai Ram to all brothers and sisters across the globe, more specifically Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, and other countries in this particular zone. Thank you for inviting me for this particular very important session, Sai Connect, plugging into Divinity. And the topic which has been given to me is Divine Formula for Sadhana. At the very outset, I would like to offer myself at Thy Divine Lotus Feet, Bhagwan. Bhagwan, we all have a small prayer. Please hold our hands and guide us on the path you have chosen for us. And the destination of that path is Thy Divine Lotus Feet. Sai Ram. Sai Ram to everybody again. This particular topic, if you see, Sai Connect, plugging into Divinity, what does it actually mean? This was the theme which has been selected by the organizers. I was just thinking about what is it all about. And what actually occurred to me is something like this. Let us say, right now, I have this laptop through which I'm giving this talk. And if I'm not connected to the source, there is a power source, after some time, there's going to be a problem. The battery will go down, the volume will go down, image will go down, and it will not function the way it ought to be functioning. And so what is the destination? The destination is we should look at is what is called as the socket, where the power actually comes to this particular device. And how do we get that particular link? This is the source. And one which we need to connect is between this particular device and this particular source, and which is nothing but a cable. Basically, it has two components. One is the wire. If I have the only wire, yes, I can connect to my device. But the thing is the 3 or 4 ends which are going to be the 2 ends. If I try to put it into this particular socket and see whether I can draw power, as and when this particular device or the cable or wire is going to move, the connection is lost. So have a connection perfect at all times, irrespective of the situation, I need what is called a plug. What does it signify? I will just go in a minute. In this particular sequence, if you look at, if I get connected this way, even if my laptop moves or the wire moves, since the connection between this and the source is perfect, it will be continuous. What the analogy of this is, we'll just go in a minute. So what are these particular 4 components? First one is we, the individuals, are like the device. And the source is none other than our sweet Lord Sai. So this device has to get connected to Sai properly, permanently, in a way, even if there's going to be some turbulence or some changes or not discordance and things like that in an individual turmoil, which we go through ups and downs in life, still, and even if the wire is going to move, we still will have the connection with Swami continuously. And what does this wire signify? Signify sadhana. The sadhana which we undertake is the one which is connecting us to that particular source through this particular plug. And what is this plug? If you see, there are going to be 3 pins in this particular plug. And what are these 3 pins? They are none other than what comes from the source and to back to the source is our karma marga, bhakti marga, and jnana marga. Now just look at this. Connection to the source through the plug is these three margas. So even if there's going to be some changes which is occurring with passage of time, from the time we start our journey towards Swami, even if there's going to be some changes or movements, still this karma, bhakti, jnana margas are the ones which is going to continue to get connected to. That means what we are going to undertake as part of sadhana is what it is. And that's why I said, one of the things which is the best way of plugging into divinity is why what we talk about divinity is all pervading. Sai is all pervading. So at any time, if I want to get connected to Swami, it is this through the sadhana. And the sadhana is defined by the three margas which are there and which we can take up. It's so beautiful. Though I don't know whether consciously I have taken up this particular theme. But this is what it is. But the thing, the magic is slightly different. How does these three margas together constitute what is called a sadhana? And how does it help an individual, even in the terms of turmoil or turbulence, still get connected to Swami Pakka, so that what we want to derive that source of energy back into our system, that's our human body, to function the way we want it to function, so that we will be proud to tell Swami, Swami, we are your devotees. And that's the one which is going to make a difference. In Swami's own words, what is the sole objective of Sri Sathya Seva organization? I mean, right from beginning in 60s when Swami started this organization, it started as Sri Sathya Sai Seva organization. Then came India International and all other. And over a period of time, for want of local laws, certain terminologies have been changed, but the focus and concept as sole objective always stayed. And what is that particular one? The sole objective of this Satsang organization is to enable man to discover his innate divinity, regain self-confidence and faith in God. I would like to just mention one point here. Whatever I'm going to show you in my slides are all Swami's own words. They are taken from discourses on publications and for which references have been given. So these are all from what Swami has said. Now let us understand organizations to enable man, an individual who is going to join the organization, enable him to discover his innate divinity. What is this discovery we are talking about? Discovery means, is it something which I'm trying to find for the first time and it exists? Invented? No. Discovery, it already exists. I'm trying to find it out. That means innate, inside us, that particular divinity already is there. For example, continuously you will find that somebody inside is always telling us this is right, this is not right, be careful, don't do this way, there's going to be a blockade here, there's going to be difficulty here, don't go on this path. Continuously it is communicating to us and we don't seem to be listening to it. And organization through its various methods and means which are being provided by Bhagavan himself will tell you how to identify that particular voice which is continuously communicating to discover that innate divinity, that is Sai. Regain self-confidence. Confidence is there. Confidence self is there. Regain. That means though when we took this human form and came, we were told, we knew that this is what it is going to be. Now we are trying to regain, because once we identify that innate divinity inside, start listening to it, and that's what. And what is the confidence we want to regain in that self? The confidence is that he is going to take care of us. He is going to give the right advice to us. He is going to guard us, guide us. He is telling you everything, provided you follow, listen to him and follow it. And that's what is very important. Regain that particular confidence in that self which is there, which is none other than the innate divinity. And the last but the least, is the most important one, is faith in God. Here God is Sai. Let me tell you my personal experience here. There weren't many experiences which I'll talk in this particular talk, but the thing is, this is very important for the continuity of understanding of what Swami is trying to communicate to us. Teach us so that now we get full confidence and full faith in what we are doing is right. I joined as I was introduced in 1988 when I joined the university, and we had the privilege of sitting in the veranda and a different location depending on how the students are there, other devotees are there, other VIPs are there. We were able to sit close to Swami wherever he used to come. And most often than not, Swami will give everybody an opportunity to ask questions and seek clarifications or say something and then give, and use that as a means to communicate a very important spiritual message. But very early in my life, I realized I can ask a lot of questions to Swami. Even as Sevadal, I used to get most important positions in the particular locations. And Swami many times used to talk to me, and then I had the opportunity. But I learned very quickly not to ask any question. Why? For our spiritual journey, we need knowledge. Jnana Marga, we need knowledge and wisdom. Which part of the entire universe's wisdom do I need for my journey? I don't know. So I may be out of ignorance, ask questions and lose a fantastic opportunity to get clarifications from Swami and get information which is not going to be useful for my journey. Why ask questions? So I always decided that I will listen to Swami. When the opportunity comes, Aim Sangati, Swami Chappandi. Swami, tell me what I need to know so that my journey is going to become smooth. My journey is going to be perfect. And I'll reach the destination the way you want me to reach the destination. So I never used to ask questions. So on one occasion, somebody asked some question. I was trying to give an answer to him, and they looked at me and said, I'll tell first in Telugu and then I'll translate it. Chudu, నీకు ఏమి చేసినా ఏమి వచ్చినా నీ మంచికే. Listen, whatever comes to you or whatever happens to you is for your good. Very fantastic message. Anything which happens is for your good. Anything means it could be very pleasant things, beautiful things, enjoyable things, and the other extremes of not so also. I may be exalted, I may be down in dumps. Swami was trying to communicate that, look, both are important for you. They're meant to be good for you. And it took me a long time to understand and analyze what this particular thing is. Faith that whatever comes to me is only for my good. And that's the faith in God. Those who know me know I have gone through ups and downs in my life, even after joining this place. But the thing is, when I look back and analyze why I had to go through a turbulent time or a bad time or whatever you call it, unpleasant time, I couldn't understand that there's a spiritual dimension to it, and that learning helped me to not just what of that particular incident, but go through that, because everybody has to go through, as Swami calls, Kantamala. That means the good and the bad which you have done in the past lives and come to this birth, you have come with wearing a garland, and the garland consists of all these things. So it's very essential that we go through it if you want to reach the destination. And that is Swami's lotus feet. If you want, we have to go through this. And it helped me. The moment I realized that, look, this is what it is, then no turbulence, no problem, no difficulty was difficult for me to go through. It was actually, on the other hand, it was enjoyable for me to go through. People used to wonder when I went through some horrible times. Some of the persons who are on this show will know I've gone through a very bad period. And everybody, when they used to look at me, they thought that I'm going to collapse. But at the same time, I saw, no, nothing. It's part of it. Over. They were quite surprised that how can you be so joyous to even to go through this bad period? And that is what is important for us. That's what. Faith in God is that. The power and strength which you are able to derive from both faith and in self and faith in God, both. Actually, both are same, isn't it? Self is God, and we're talking about Swami. Both are same. One is inside and one is from outside. Both are same. Once you are able to have this particular faith, just see, it's going to be enduring. That means, like I said, connection between the plug and the socket is going to be pakka. Continuously, you're going to have that connection, isn't it? And ever sustaining. Ever sustaining means, it is going to take you through all it. I mean, these are the words Swami has used. Please understand. It's not me. And this, I'm giving the reference also in the Sevadal magazine, which came out in April 1983. These particular paragraphs are there. Then, what is that you and me who are part of this organization? The objective of the organization is to make people be aware of this truth. The truth about self and faith. The three aspects: first, discover the divinity, regain confidence, have faith. And that is our responsibility. That's the truth. And live in that awareness. Live in that awareness, continuously be aware of it and use it in your practice, in your daily life. And that's what is most important. If we're able to do that, I think our journey, the purpose of plugging into divinity, is achieved. It's not so simple. We are going to have some obstacles coming on the way. And what are the things which are going to come in our way? Swami beautifully said, these are the 6 enemies: egoism, greed, hatred, malice, lust, and envy. And these are the words of translation of Mr. Kasturi. If you ask me to translate, I would have replaced the lust with desires. They're also equally, because once you cross the limit in the desire, it is going to be an obstacle for us. Is this all? Or is something else? Swami has given something else for us. And what are those? These beautiful 6 things: compassion, love, patience, kindness, charity, forbearance, honesty, integrity. Just on the side before I continue, these 6 are considered to be the Sathya human values. Universal values are Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa. Under that, if you want to know what Swami's values are, these 6 are Swami's human values. Now, look at this, so beautiful. Swami has said, in individual, right now, today, if you look at ourselves, we have both sets of things in us. We have those negative ones, we also have these positive ones. But the only difference between individuals is the proportion of these negatives and positives. 1. And within the negatives, the 6, which are the things which is getting more prominence, which is less. And in these 6 positive ones, which is predominant and the others are not. This is only the difference. But if we want to make, as we progress in our spiritual path, and by means of the sadhana which is going to be adopted by us, it is to reduce these negativities close to 0, if not 0, and expand these particular 6 positives as much as possible, that all our time is going to be spent only in this particular way. Using this particular 6, we go forward. And that is what is going to complete our existence and go forward the path for our spiritual journey to reach the destination. So if you have got any questions, just note down this particular slide and then ask this question and then give clarifications. Though it's a little loaded, but it is what it is the truth. Now, given this particular one, we started trying to look at prescriptions Swami is given for us for this, how to overcome this negative and how to become positive. Swami has also given, and Swami himself has said there is to be given a code. That means code is like, let us say I have a problem, and the problem is this particular negatives are there for me, and I want to overcome. So I go to a doctor, and doctor is going to give me a prescription. Okay, take this medicines. Is the medicines alone are going to solve my problem? No, something else has to be. And that's what Swami has beautifully mentioned. And that is, illness cannot be conquered by drugs alone. A tight regime of food, drink, and habits is also to be prescribed and followed. in Telugu, Swami uses these two terms, Aushadam and Patyam. Aushadam is medicine, Patyam is a regime. Prescribed regime. For example, you take this particular medicine, after this particular duration only you should be able to eat or take this medicine, you should not eat this. Between these two medicines, what you should be doing. I mean, everything is going to tell. And what are those prescriptions Swami has given in a particular discourse, which I'll give you, also give the reference, is basically these 6 aspects. These 6 aspects are the ones, which are part of the regime, which are thoughts, uchar, words, achar, vyavahar, behavior and conduct, ahar, food, vihar, where you move around, with whom you move around. Like Swami says, the company you keep. These 6, along with the medicines which are being provided, which is part of the code, will make us overcome all our deficiencies, improve our health, the way by taking these medicines, the way it is prescribed, and with the regime, the way it improves our health. In the same way, those 6 negative traits which I have just shown in the previous slide will be off, and those 6 beautiful ones which we want to adhere to and improve in ourselves will start blossoming in us. So we have perfect health to make our journey on the spiritual path. And that's what is most important for us. And this is given in this Sanatana Sarthi Journal magazine, page number also I'm giving you. You can just have a look at it. But the whole thing has been beautifully explained in a very large extent, very intensely, Swami has described in this particular discourse, which was going to All India Conference. First All India Conference is Satsang Organization, 31st April 1967. Just go through it beautifully. Bhavarogas, Swami calls it. These negative ones are bhavarogas for us. How these bhavarogas can be overcome are also given beautifully. What are the steps and other things? That's what it is for us. Please understand, we don't have to go too far away from anywhere. And the next slide will actually communicate this particular concept. Following this particular code, what will we achieve? And that's what is important for us. And those things are the main aim of all activities in which you are now engaged and which you will take up in the future is cleansing the mind. As part of members of such an organization, we are going to undertake certain activities, like sevas and other things we are going to do. Attending bhajans, satsangs, and all that you call study circles, everything, anything you are going to do is meant for cleansing the mind, including the talk which you are listening to today. And Swami further explains, whether it is meditation that you are encouraging, discourses, bhajans and clothes that you are offering, or worship that you are conducting, the objective is just cleansing the mind of the 6 enemies which I have showed you in the previous 2 slides. So those negative 6 traits are the ones which will have to be removed. But everything which has been suggested, which you have been practicing all these years, decades, if I may have to say, is only meant for this. And having said this, what is that you are going to develop? The one quality that you must acquire as a result of all this is mutual love. And that's a sign of a Sai devotee. You must realize me in all and serve all in the spirit of worshipful dedication. This is a discourse which was given on 21st November 1968. This was actually part of a program in 1968 when the district presidents of all the states in India had come for a conference, for a 5-day conference. On the valedictory time, just pre-valedictory time, Swami had given this particular one. After deliberation were there were a lot of recommendations have been given, and when it was presented to Swami, this is part of the opening paragraph of the Swami's discourse. Now, look, it looks a little complicated, isn't it? We are doing activities to overcome the enemies. And Swami says you must develop mutual love. I mean, where does all these things actually fit in? How does it happen? When we first read this particular discourse about 3 years back, we're just wondering how Swami jumped so many levels. But how to get the connection between these jumps is what, when we looked at other discourse and the same discourse subsequently, and the previous which I showed 1967 discourse, when we looked at it more carefully with analysis, We thought, oh my God, it's so simple it is, so beautiful it is. And based on this particular discourses, these two discourses and one more Seva discourse, we have developed a 6-hour program. 6-hour program which we conduct for organization in India. Right from 2019 onwards, we have been conducting these programs. We have covered right from All India President to the Samiti level, all the office bearers and active workers. Majority of the Samitis, about 20%, we got about close to about 3,800 Samitis. 20% of the Samitis have already covered. Because of pandemic, we got stuck. We have already covered, and all the office bearers, each Samiti, like your center, we have about close to about 10 office bearers and then senior devotees. They used to come together and participate in this, and they have benefited. And from that moment, the moment they saw why we are doing each one of these activities, how we are able to overcome those 6 enemies, and how the mutual love is going to be blossoming in us, and we are able to see Swami in everyone with whom we are interacting, becomes so easy, so simple for us. So very simple. And thereby, now, let me go back to that first slide which we showed about the laptop and the connection. The moment we connect, when I move my laptop anywhere, I still have the connection, isn't it? And in case, nowadays technology has improved. If you're not having the connection and you're going from location to location, one place to another place, you carry the power pack, isn't it? To get connected. That means to have from the source, you're going to have still. In the same way, this is where Swami said, he's talking about spirit of worshipful dedication. Any person, that means right from the morning which we get up to the night we sleep, we are going to undertake so many activities. Any activity you take up is to only to cleanse the mind. And at the same time, whatever work we are going to do, if you are able to transform it into worship, that's why Swami says, work is transformed into worship. If you are able to transform into worship, each one of them, prayerful worship also, that Swami is one place said, if I'm going to do that, then I'm able to see Swami in each one of those people whom I'm going to interact with. I may be an officer, I may be a manager, I'm going to sign a document, take a decision. That decision is going to impact so many people. Let us say, if each one of them, if I'm able to see that, look, that is Swami in them, and I'm going to sign, and that's what is going to go to that Swami, and with that realization, Swami is going to receive. See how much way we do this particular activity? Will we have the negative tendency in us and the biases we are going to have in us while signing that, how to deprive somebody else, or how to cheat somebody else, how to do something else to somebody else? No. We only think compassion, love, and those 6 are going to foster in us. Cleansing the mind and replacing them both happen simultaneously. This is a beautiful 6-hour session, and now that you are part of a global council, maybe sometime next calendar year, we will be coming to you, also conducting these programs for all your Samti center members and all inter-office bearers and the country level office bearers. We are going to conduct this program for you. This is the one which makes the difference for us. This is the one which makes the difference. This is the thing how we are going to do that. In fact, we do a very detailed exercise for every activity, which type of enemy we can overcome and which type of positivity can be fostered. Those details are identified. And these are, please let me mention to you, is not what we decide the Center for Human Values identified. No, it is what Swami has given over a period of time. So many hundreds of discourses and so many interactions which people have had, including myself, I had sometimes and asked certain Swami, why this particular one? He gave an answer to that. And those are the things which we have been showing to them. And now coming to the quote. What is the divine formula which I talked about? And the divine formula is nothing but these 9-point code of conducts. And these we are all familiar. This is daily meditation prayer, bhajans with all members of the family once in a week, participation Bal Vikas program and parenting program now, which is included, participation community work and other programs of the organization, attendance at least once in a month, bhajans and sankirtans organized with the organization, regular study of literature, Sai literature. These last three are more important. To speak softly with everyone, not to indulge in talking ill of others, especially in their absence. And last but not the least, sealing on desires. Now, All of us have been practicing this. All of us can, memorized it. And I'm sure a lot of people also will give talks on this. What over a period of time we realized, and now we had interaction with a lot of office bearers in India and some overseas, especially when I traveled overseas, and I talked to a lot of them, the genesis of each one of these 9 points, why Swami had suggested, what word did he mention, and how it is to be done. Those 3 are not very clear. That means there for each one of them, Swami has identified there's a history behind it. Once we know that legacy of each one of them and see what's the importance it has and how specifically we have to do this particular activity, once we are able to understand that, just imagine when we are doing how much joy we get. Because all those memories of what Swami has comes to us. So it's no more a drudgery. It's joy for us. And that joy is the one which translates, it removes our negativities out from our system and brings in a lot of positivity to us. And that is the technique, that is the magic, this particular one. I mean, I run short of words, so my vocabulary is very bad. Otherwise, the way Swami has designed these things for the benefit of the mankind for future generations to come also is fantastic. Look at all these 9. Is it time dependent? Is it location dependent? No. It's transnational, transcendental, and time to come. All these things. Okay, this is what is very important for us. And once we look at this, now let's go back. We said we have to get connected to the plug, the 3 pins, Bhakti, Karma, Jnana Margas. Okay. And only when these 3 together are there, I'm able to reach the destination. So sadhana, this 9-point code of conduct, these 9 aspects, how we are going to use them together, how we are going to participate in them together, with each one of them, which are the negativities I'm going to remove, which are the positive things which I'm going to bring into my system, my life, my method, my way of looking at, my way of behaving, my way of dealing, and how I am known to the rest of the world. All those things will depend on the mix at which you do this particular one, and sincerity and seriousness with which you do this. And that is the one which is important for us. Now let us see in this 9-point code of conduct, this divine formula, all 3, do they exist? I'm sure a lot of people already will talk to you, but I'll just, for the purpose of completion, I'll just bring this particular one and then give some conclusion towards the end of it. If you look at these things, yes, and Swami gave an illustration with respect to a clock. I'm quite sure many of you have seen this. A lot of our boys also talk to you in various programs on this. Look at in this peculiar, this particular one is, this shows you the progress with respect to time. The moment with respect to time, isn't it? How the time is moving forward. Our life is that particular time movement going forward. And what does the way our life is going to move forward is based on the way these 3 needles move. And Swami said, there are 3 hands. And what are these 3 hands? The first hand, which is longest, moves fastest, is Karma Marga. Seconds. And one revolve around the clock by the seconds hand will make our minute hand to go forward by 1. I mean, if we do so much of karma activities, then little bit of progress is going to be in the bhakti. And once we make that particular bhakti to move 1 full round, what happens? We move a little more on our dhyana. Just look at your own life. Maybe after this program is over, when you're alone, before you go to sleep, just think about how your journey has been. How the karma has translated, matured into bhakti, and from bhakti it got translated into wisdom, which is dhyana. And that particular wisdom is the one which is actually going to pave the way for you to go forward in the front, to reach the destination from his divine lotus feet. And that, I thought, was the fantastic thing Swami has. That means in just simple those 9 points, he has embedded all the requirements which are needed for us to reach the destination. When we saw the 9, did we know that all the 3 things are there? No. We thought it was mechanically an activity to be performed. But now, try to see it from this particular angle. This is for karma. I have to overcome. I have to complete it. This is my duty to complete it. Once I do this, then only my bhakti is going to fructify. The fruit is going to come. And the sweetness of the fruit is going to be when I come to jnana stage. And that is the beauty of this particular 9-point code of conduct. That's why I call it divine formula it is. And this is a divine formula for sadhana. Okay. Now let us look at which are those which are part of the karma marga. The karma marga, these are the 4 points which are part of the karma. Okay. Slides are there. You can use it. I don't have to go through each one of them. Bhakti, these are the 3. And last, jnana is these 2. Now you just see, more work you have to do. So more items have been given as part of 9 code of conduct for the karma. The less number which is needed because the movement of that one is going to be slow, 3 have been given. And jnana is the one which moves slow. That means getting to the knowledge stage, wisdom stage is going to take effort. And for that you need, unless you have done your karma and bhakti, there's no way you can read science literature and understand. You're going to participate in the program for what? Mechanically standing there? Physically doing something? Or are you going to learn from each one of acts what it means to me in my spiritual progress? I said, this is the one which you are going to conduct in our that 5.5 hours program. And now comes this particular one. If you're going to look at this 9-point code of conduct, I need to know what it is all about, why is it all about, how it is to be done. These 3 are very important. Like I said, if for each one of them there's been a legacy, why Swami identified this as a particular code for us, as a path for us? And why is it contributing to karma or bhakti or jnana? If you are able to understand that, why it is to be done, what for I know, why I'm doing it also I know, because it is individual. So if you see 9, all the people are not going to participate, all of them at the same time. At different points in time, they are going to be more intensive about certain things. And when we are young, we are going to do a lot more physical activities, karma marga. But as we grow, we can't, our body doesn't so easily. So we come to other stages. So that is the reason why. That means unless I have done enough at karma level, I will not be able to make progress to bhakti, and bhakti will not fructify itself. The sweetness will not come there. Wisdom. And that is the one. So again, our Satsang organization asked us, can we, from all Swami's discourses and literature, whatever Swami has written, this the Vahini series and other things, and the interactions which Swami had, which have been published in private for us, like in the hostel we have now, Sai Student and other books which are there, is personal contacts which are there, which have been documented. Going through all of them, we have been able to identify a 27-hour program. 27 sessions are going to be there. We are going to launch it in the next year, calendar year, and that will also be available for all of you. So people will be wondering, so being part of GC, what is that we are going to get from Satsang Central Trust or from Prasanthi Nilayam? I don't think so easy for anybody to give you this type of programs. Once you see your program, you can just imagine why that particular connect with Prasanthi Nilayam is so very important. So very important. Okay, so this one, if you look at this from this particular one, how do I understand this particular formula? So that makes my particular life very smooth and go forward. It caters to the role we are going to play as an individual, in the family, and in the community. Because at a point in time in my day, I wear these 3 hats. These 3 roles I'm playing. I'm an individual. I'm also a family member. I'm also part of this community or society. So I play 3 roles, and these 3 roles, like we did the division of this 9 code of conduct into those particular 3 margas. I can redivide. We have done, but I'm not showing right now here because it doesn't really come. Those 9 again been converted, which is the individual oriented, which is the family oriented, and which is community oriented. There again, we have this particular differentiation coming. And that is the one role we are playing. Because as an individual, we are not away from society. We are not like, in the ages before, we could go to a forest and sit and then do meditation and do whatever austerities and then reach have darshan of the Lord and then merge in Him. Those days are gone. We had to be part of society because we cannot live without society. We cannot live without family. We are individuals still. In that situation, we have these three roles to play, and that's what it is. And again, like I mentioned the previous one, this karma, bhakti, jnana, these three paths are well balanced out. The 4, 3, 2 items which have been identified is well balanced. And the more important is the last 2 items which have been mentioned. Purifies our senses and mind. Cleansing of the mind, Swami talked about. Helps create a sustainable future for each of us who are participating and the people who are going to be in touch with us. And together when we make a movement, sustainable, because like I said, the plug, when it's properly fixed in the socket, whatever movement I may have with the cable or with the particular laptop, it will still be able to sustain itself because the connection is going to be there with, and Swami, that if you have faith in self and in God, both those things will together help me to have a sustainable future. And this is the most important thing. And this brings us to the next slide, which all of us will be many times have used these particular terms. Swami also used these terms very often, and they are smaranam, listening, mananam, internalizing, and most important one, nitidhyasam, practicing. We should listen, internalize, understand, and put into action. And that is what is important. And these three have to be still be done within that particular, what you call the regime, which we talked about the time when we talked about the drug for the illness. And that is vichar, uchar, ahar, vihar, and vihar. These are the things which are very important. Continuously, when we want to sustain ourselves, if you are able to keep track of these 5 aspects continuously, all the things which I have heard, all the things we have internalized, how we are able to practice them becomes very simple. That's why I said Swami has been so very lenient to us by giving such a simple formula. The divine formula is so simple. No complication. I don't have to have PhD for this. I don't have to do discoveries. I don't have to be a multi-billionaire or anybody like that. Nothing. An ordinary person can realize Swami and reach his destination. And that is what is important for us. Smaranam, that means listening. Mananam, internalizing. Nitidhyasam, practicing. With these 6 aspects, which are our boundaries within which we have to conduct ourselves, all these 3. And that is the one which takes us to the end. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. I pray to Bhagavan that, as we mentioned in the beginning, please hold our hands. We faltered many times. We stumbled many times, even though you are holding our hand. Please pardon us of our ignorance and take us to thyself at the end, so that we don't have to come back again in another body. Sai Ram.